7th of December, 2017, on radio, Bobby Wine told me, old man of the clan, that when trouble comes in Uganda, you, Andrew Mwenda, will be the first person to board the plane and will be out. For us, we have nowhere to go. This is our only home. We will be stuck here. So we have a big stake to ensure the stability of the country. Now, Bobby Wine has evacuated first his family. We are not so sure whether next week on Thursday he will be in the country. He may evacuate himself on Wednesday night. And leaving all of us who have supported him in Noop, fought with him on the streets, he leaves us to the crocodiles in the CMI, in the police, in the PDF,
and then, but
in
of course,
SFC
Andrew,
to eat us up.
But of course,
I mean, what kind of leader is that?
But as a few cynics have said that the reason in particular, one Andrew Mwenda of Kanyandahi village is here, not in Washington DC or wherever. First, it's because you can see chaos in the U.S. Capitol, not very secure
That's why
place.
he's sending his
But
kids.
two also,
I like that. So Bobby Wine is doing a mistake. He's running from the frying pan to the fire.
But if if brother is in charge of security, surely that's the safest place on earth for a sibling. Some cynics say, I could be wrong, but their thought is, it's like saying Moses' cousin is like in Entebbe, where SFC is headquartered. I would agree that's the safest place for him. So if brother is in charge of security in Kampala, why go anywhere, Andrew? For some people. But even siblings,
even you on Twitter, you accused me of saying you, Mwenda, since your family is the one in charge of security.
Of course,
there's no reason.
First of all, there's unclassified. You just wait 2 months from now, you will see Andrew has a new car. This time it's I don't know, it's a Volvo or something from classified bags for that, as some cynics think.
Yes, Obed Katurevi.
Well, I think Bob Wine's idea of sending his children to the US, I think it backfired on his part. There is no amount of argument or whitewashing the whole idea of evacuating his family. Of course, the basic reason why he evacuated his family is that he anticipates violence. And usually the losers typical in Africa, but it's no longer typical in Africa. Even in the Western world, we have seen stubborn, bad losers who want to incite the population. So he doesn't want any ramification to affect his family. But the most unfortunate thing is his argument of sending his children, that he learned that the state wants to kidnap his children. Kidnap for what? Why kidnap a 2-year-old kid? But even if someone is even an adult, why kidnap them? It looked a very, very, very ridiculous statement. I wish I had said no. I have a liberty to send my children to where I want. But the most unfortunate was arguing that the state is looking for his children probably to harm them. That was the most unfortunate thing.
In fact, a mutual friend of mine and Bobby Wine contacted me and said, look, Bobby is scared that there will be harm done to him and his family, and he needs reassurances. I personally sent him a WhatsApp message informing him that I have consulted widely in security, and whatever protection he needs for himself, his home and his family will be provided to the hilt. The state of Uganda assures him all protection that he wants. But what do you think, Kwesi, of his action?
Well, I think Bobby Wine is being true to himself. He's being Bobby Wine.
What do you mean?
What is
Bobby
the
Wine?
last time he was beaten in Arua, he couldn't seek medical care elsewhere. He went to the US. When he felt his leadership skills needed to be polished, he went for some course at Harvard in the US. On his campaign, when he wants to inspire his crowds, he doesn't reflect on anyone else other than American figures or figures that are in good books with America. So it's Mandela, it's a mixture of Martin Luther King and any other person he could think of. So it's not surprising that he'd send his kids not to Kenya or Tanzania or any other country in the neighborhood or even South Africa, but the US and maybe not even the UK. So I mean, it just shows you the kind of and this I say as someone who is genuinely sympathetic to Bobby Wine. It just shows you there are certain things he does that show you some kind of amateurishness in his politics. Maybe he may know certain things that we don't know, but going by precedent, I think if there's ever been a presidential candidate who stood in an election where the stakes were so high, that person could easily be Kizza Besigye in 2001. He didn't need a bulletproof
Actually,
vest.
2006 especially.
2006, he didn't need a bulletproof vest to campaign. But somehow, Bobby Wine and some people who claim to care so much about his plight here have internalized and accepted this threat that he faces from the Ugandan state that necessitates him wearing a military vest and to match a helmet and campaigns across the country, and that message has been packaged that way. So to that group of people, him evacuating his family is consistent with the message of his campaign. But I think it undermines his campaign in Uganda, because if he's going to govern Uganda, so his kids will come back after only he has won, what happens when he loses? But also, how will he secure the well, not secure the future, but how will he guarantee the safety of Ugandans that he's convincing to make him president, if at the slightest fear that the lives of people around him may be in danger, he evacuates them to the United States? So it raises more questions around the kind of leader that Bobby Wine is, or the kind of aspirant that he is for president.
Of course, a few people have mentioned that certain hardcore Pan-Africanists who really love Uganda, love all Uganda's proverbs and history, when it came to their daughters giving birth, they were flown to Europe, in a country whose hospitals are everything is just up and whatnot.
How many daughters?
No, I'm just saying some people.
No, but how many?
No, even if it's just one, the principle is it's this. I mean, you might say, where was Besigye's child today? Is it Oxford University, Harvard? I don't know. In other words, there's this side to us. It's a whole separate story. I see what you mean, but in general, it's a contradiction that we, the so-called African elite, face, where the heart, a certain degree of sentiment, a defiant tone is Africa our place. Europe don't tell us what to do. But virtually every African, just think through all the elite, or at least the majority of them. There's that rootedness. It's a fellowship. It's a scholarship. It's some dual citizenship with the US, France, and wherever. It's African presidents in West Africa who spend a quarter of the year in France and whatnot. It is President Paul Kagame feeling, where was the West when we were going through this genocide, but his children, I think it was the girl and the boy educated in the US. It is President Museveni here, really defiant and thinking the West, lousy culture and whatnot, but makes sure his son Mhozi goes to Sandhurst, his children have studied university board. In other words,
financial assets, but it has been capital in form of skills. They sent their people to study abroad and acquire skills and technology and scientific knowledge that they came and applied at home for their own industrialization. So it is the development of human capital that has been the biggest driver of the transformation of those countries, not the injection of foreign capital. Africa's biggest problem, I would say, is that we export less of our people, and those the few export don't come back. And then we think that it is capital in form of money rather than capital in form of skills that will transform us. That side, I want to go back to the broader position that Timothy Kaligira was making, and this is, there is a mentality in us to seek safety away from Africa, in which case Bobby Wine is just a reflection of the general trend that African elites, or the major contradiction African elites face. But then the question becomes, Bobby Wine is standing on a platform of change. He criticizes Museveni because, while you do not mention Museveni, there is a time Museveni used the presidential jet to send his daughter Natasha to deliver in Spain or somewhere in Europe, in Germany, to give birth. And President Museveni himself, I don't think, has ever been admitted to Malago. Obote was, I know. But President Museveni, no. So Bobby Wine has, and his people stand on the platform of change, that for us, this is our only home. What he's doing is a contradiction of the very promise he's giving us even before he gets into power. Yeah. I am sure when he gets into power and he's corrupt, he will tell us, but you see, Museveni was also corrupt. When he's nepotistic, you see, Museveni appointed his son and his wife and his brother-in-law and his daughter into government, so I also do the same. I get the sense that people in Nup have a tendency to justify their actions when criticized by saying, but Museveni does it. But you are fighting against Museveni. You are against the practices of this man.
Yes.